Hey, it's Hersh and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is another chill draw with me. I'll be drawing some Genshin characters while giving a bit of a life update, talking about some animes I've been watching, and etc. So grab your sketchbook or snack and let's get started. So as usual, I did the sketch off camera. I wasn't planning on filming this, but I ended up somewhat liking the sketches and I decided it'd be nice to have some extra footage in case I got lazy one week and I didn't film. This ended up being one of the videos I filmed in advance, so if the timeline seems a little bit weird compared to my other videos, that's probably why. Anyways, by the time this video is released, my summer vacation is probably going to be coming to an end. It's low-key crazy to think about because it's going by so fast, it literally feels like school just ended. I'm hoping that you guys have a good first day of school, and if it's starting at the same time as mine, good luck. I started the spread back when the Fatui Harbinger video was newly released, and oh my god, the designs for all the characters are literally so cool. I'd love for them to be playable one day so that I can wish for them and have them on my team because I feel like they'd just be so cool to play with. Speaking of which, the first character I'm drawing is Columbina. She is one of the Fatui Harbingers and I absolutely love her design and her hair especially. The pink streaks and the black hair just go so well together. I also love her like eye mask kind of thing that's like kind of transparent white color. I didn't do her much justice today after I finished coloring her, but I promise I'll do better next time. As you can see, I'm using a black fine liner to outline my drawings. I used to use brown liners, but I switched because I thought my liner was looking more crisp with black lines. However, this spread I got really lazy, which you'll see later, and I pretty much gave up on the whole being neat aspect, so the liner was one of the many things I disliked about this spread. Speaking of which, I was feeling pretty half-hearted about posting this because it definitely isn't my best drawing of the sketchbook. I took a huge break after coloring the second character because I was mentally exhausted and my coloring was definitely getting very sloppy. However, I think the page looks decent enough at the end, so if you're ever thinking about giving up on an art piece, just finish it for the sake of finishing it, and if you ever need a break, then be sure to take one, but never give up on it completely because who knows, it could turn out great. As for some shows that I've been watching, I recently started the anime Assassination Classroom. As of now, I'm only like 10 episodes into the first season, but I already love all the characters and the way that they're designed is really cool. I really like how diverse the character designs are as well. I also love the overall plot of the show. Basically, the class has to attempt to kill their alien teacher, but the show isn't completely revolved around the combat aspect, so that makes it a lot more enjoyable. So I would definitely recommend it. Some other shows I've been watching recently are the case study of Vanitas, Horimiya, and I think I also rewatched some episodes of Haikyuu recently. As for manga, I've been trying to find volume 7 of Toilet Bound Hanako-kun everywhere, but I literally can't find it. I've been looking in all the manga stores near me and Amazon, but they're all out of stock. Hopefully I can find it soon. I also need volume 10, which wasn't at the store that I went to last time, so I ended up skipping those 2 volumes and I just ended up getting 8, 9, and 11. As we get into the coloring process, I was feeling really lazy. I was trying to do all this in one sitting, which definitely didn't help. Columbina has pink stripes in her hair like I mentioned before, and I never really draw characters with multicolored hair, especially with my markers, and if they're like so thin and spread out. I was starting to rush a little and that made all my lines super messy, and I pretty much hated how the drawing was turning out at this point. I also wasn't sure how to add hair highlights. In my current style, I usually pick a contrasting color. In this case, it probably would have been a light pink, but I feel like that would have distracted from the actual pink streaks too much. I ended up going with this muted brown color that definitely wasn't the best, but I think it got the job done well enough. Thankfully, after doing this drawing, I used my white gel pen to fix a lot of the mistakes that I made, and it ended up looking more decent. I probably should have put more effort into the clothes, but I couldn't find a proper reference picture, so this is basically what we have to deal with. The next character I'm coloring is Tighnari. Genshin released his design a couple weeks ago as of filming this, and it looks super cool. I loved all the blues and the big ears, as well as the green stripes that kind of frame his face. I think that's really cool. I definitely like how the hair came out much better on this one compared to how it did for Columbina's. I used the light pink and purple for their hair highlights since it would match with the inner color of his ears, but that was pretty much the only good thing that came out of this drawing. I didn't have enough blue hues for his hair and the outfit, so it ended up blending together far too much, especially considering his hair length kind of ends where his shirt begins. So I used my white gel pen later on to separate them, but it still ended up looking quite messy. I also was feeling pretty drained after doing Columbina and the sketching and line art beforehand, so the coloring was definitely extremely sloppy. It didn't help that the line art was also messed up, and it's safe to say this is probably my least favorite drawing of this spread. Anyways, I'm super excited for Sumeru to be released. Genshin has been posting some trailers for the new region and it looks really cool. The biomes look super fun and the mechanics also look really cool. I think Tighnari will be one of the first Enduro characters who is released, along with Cole. I also want to get Dory, whose design was released with the other two on Genshin's YouTube community page, because I want some new Electro characters with Kaching, and I definitely need to build more characters for the Spiral Abyss. Speaking of which, I managed to get Kazuha. I'm pretty happy about this because I did win my 50-50 on the banner. I've yet to get Heizo, so I'm hoping that I'll manage before his banner goes away because I don't know when his next rerun will be. I've also been going through a bit of art block lately. Basically, I can't come up with any ideas of what to draw, or whatever I put on the paper ends up looking really bad. So I've been entering in some DTIS contests because the designs of the characters are already given, and I think it's definitely helping with my creative juices to get them flowing. I went through a bit of an art style crisis when I was considering completely switching to that semi-realism style I did before in one of my Sketch With Me videos, but I think I'm enjoying my anime style again, especially with the coloring and everything. So as we finished Tighnari clothing, I think I definitely disliked this drawing a lot. As you can see, I was very careless about coloring and I was super messy, and I didn't use the right tones or brightness, so it doesn't make sense where the shadows are or anything, and I just don't like this drawing. Anyways, moving on, the final character I'm drawing is Yae Miko. She's probably one of my favorites design-wise because her pink hair is literally everything. Like I said before, I took a break between drawing Tighnari and Miko, so this is probably the neatest drawing, therefore my favorite out of the batch. For all 3 drawings, I used the same pastel peach Ohu marker shade because they all had the same skin tone, and now my marker is on life support. I might get another pack of skin tone markers from Ohu because some other shades are also drying out, but I think I'll wait for all the dark shades to dry as well, and for now I'll just use my Arctic skin tone markers in replacement. Anyways, I used a yellow highlight color for the hair so it would contrast more with the slightly darker and more saturated pink tone that I used for majority of the hair, and it also matched with the gold jewelry that Miko had, like on top of her head and on her chest. After I gave up on the clothing because there is no way I'm putting in all that work again after drawing Tighnari, and I was already very exhausted from that. And this is why I prefer drawing Genshin Impact characters digitally, because you can zoom in more and you can get more of the details and make it more crisp and nice. Also, the undo button exists, which is also very nice. Anyways, I originally wanted the color scheme of this page to be pink and green. I kind of wrote that on the side and I kind of picked the characters with the intent, but I feel like the black from Columbina and also the dark blue from Tighnari very much distracted from that kind of color scheme, so I ended up going with a different color scheme. I did use the background colors at the very end to tie everything together. So in the end, I used a washed out purple behind Miko. The first color I picked was way too gray, so I had to go over it with a slightly more saturated one. I picked a green for Tighnari because of the kind of green that kind of frames his face, the green hair that frames his face, so I thought that would look good. And obviously a pink for Columbina because of the pink stripes in her hair. I also colored the Genshin sign at the bottom with the majority of the colors that I use on this page, trying to get the color scheme to be more cohesive, and finally I was done with the spread. Although this is far from being my favorite page in my sketchbook, I'm so glad I pushed through and finished. I'm overall pretty happy with the results. Yae Miko is definitely my favorite drawing of the 3, and I'd say that Columbina is probably my second favorite because I really like the shading on her skin and also her mask like I mentioned before. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!